What is up, my Little Deinos? Vepsis, your coach of the Helsinki Hydreigons, and we are here for the Champions of Galar tournament Season 2, Week 2 battle. A very highly anticipated match between myself and versus Mountaih. His team being the Immunity Idols. He's been somebody that I've been looking forward to have a chance to play for a long time. Ever since he was able to start to make name for himself basically in a Wi-Fi scene. And Champions of Galar Season 1 was a great staple and showcase what this guy can do, because he stepped in over Luxans, who I played week 1, took over the team, made some few changes on it, and he went out and won the entire season in itself. And ever since then, once I saw him joining in the league and I started to hear a little bit about him going into that season, I've been following him very closely to see how he has been able to do, and I'm sure he has been looking forward to this as well. I think he already said week 1 battle before going into it that he's really looking forward to this battle himself. So both of us are very thrilled, a little bit nervous I suppose. I'm actually feeling a lot more calmer than I thought I would be at this point of time, because I thought I would be nervous as all hell about this, which I've been like throughout the entire week and be very focused. But I do have a team in place that I believe in. I've done several different mock battles with it. Big thank you to CP Marcus, who is gonna be the Scrafty. He was able to help me out this week quite a bit, coming with a strategy that I feel confident after having practices that this is the best way to go right now to go up against a guy like Mountaih. So let's go through the team in itself. You're gonna see right about now. The matchup in itself very briefly on your screen when we are using Automatic's website. Left side is my roster and right side is his roster, as you can tell. So you can kind of dial it in or pause right now to kind of feel out the matchup in itself. And it's a very tough team, a team that he was able to get at the last spot of the draft. And something like Rillaboom and Viva automatically look like a very anti-my team at first glance, how I was drafting my own team. Those two mons do quite well versus my high tier mons, and then he has a very versatile and balanced roster of 11 mons after those first 2 picks that he made for his draft. Kind of similar to my own. I took very balanced myself. Oh, I got a lot of mid tiers of my own, and we'll see how it's gonna be going. We are gonna be starting this in itself as my winning condition to be my Lumberry Dragon Dance Crafty with Drain Punch, Knockoff, Iron Head and the Dragon Dance as the setup move. We are holding a Lumberry, we have Moxie as our ability. This is the premier winning condition that I'm kind of most likely planning towards to going into this matchup in itself. And I do have dual screen support coming from Metacross to enable this thing to set up a little bit easier. And I have a couple of other mons that are here to break and open the door for Scrafty, and then either Scrafty or my next mon on the team being the Talonflame, which is providing here the speed and clutch priority potentially through Gale Wings. One of either Scrafty or the Talonflame. Ideally, if I do win this game, one of them should be cleaning out the game for me at the very end. So that's gonna be the Scrafty. Next mon on the team is gonna be Heavy Duty Boots, Gale Wings, Talonflame with Dual Stab and U-Turn and Roost. Roost I have just a formal recovery if I ever am in a pickle that I have to pivot on Rillaboom. And I'll also enable get myself back to full health, because the Gale Winds, depending on what 6 he brings, can be very important as a very big priority Brave Bird for me to have in the back, especially some of his setup threats that he possesses. So this is gonna be one of my potential late game cleaners besides the Scrafty. If Scrafty does fail down at some point, but has been able to do enough work besides the other mons, so that ideally Talonflame can just clean out the field and doesn't have to worry about too many things being at high health for it to be able to break anymore. Then our dedicated lead is gonna be Focus Sash Landersteria, and we're holding it Focus Sash. I'm gonna be showing it with Earthquake, Explosion, Stealth Rocks and Sword Dance. A very suicidal lead that I don't often do. This is probably the 2nd time in my ever draft league career. As you may hear thunder, it's actually thundering outside. Hopefully it's not gonna get too bad, as I'm going to be battling in 8 minutes or so versus Mountaih. So hopefully my electricity doesn't go out during this battle. That would be really bad. But going back into this Landers there, we have the Earthquake, Explosion, Stealth Rocks and Sword Dance. Depending what 6 I see in front of me and what mon he decides to lead with, will determine which moves I'm gonna be clicking. Is it gonna be Earthquake, is it gonna be Explosion, or it's gonna be Stealth Rocks? Sword Dance, I'm not too sure if I would be clicking that. That's probably the least likely of the 4 that I'm clicking turn 1. but it's there to be able to break something if he has to make a defensive swap. Because he might be expecting me to be like a mixed Landorus there, including a poison move like Sludge Bomb or Sludge Wave, and then have like Earth Power as my stat because of his grassy terrain. But that's not gonna be something I'm gonna be running this time around. I want this to be a suicidal lead, and a perfect scenario, I have rocks up, and I've cleared one of the monsters for me that is helping rest of my members going forward, and putting like a 5 versus 5 scenario through that, and I proceed from there. Then our next member of our team is gonna be the Breaker in this match, so which is gonna be Lumberry, Sword Dance, Necrozma with Photo Geyser, Axis or Knockoff, and Sword Dance. I was opting, or there were a lot of different Necrozma sets that I could have run this week, but due to the fact that how I end up going with this kind of approach, I feel like the wall breaking Necrozma was the most necessary on this team of concept that I need to have. I need something that breaks his fatter stuff, so my setup sweepers or my fast mode in Talonflame can clean out the game. So Necrozma's role is here to be purely a breaker, and with Sword Dance, Photo Geyser will be doing a lot of damage to his team. Bug coverage is actually pretty good, his roster as a overall for his high tier mons. And Knockoff is there just to purely hit duplay cards, otherwise I would not be able to hit it too hard with my first 2 moves. I could have run something like a Heat Wave, but in a set like this at Sword Dance +2, Knockoff will be doing more than Heat Wave would have to deduplate in itself. So that's gonna be the Necrozma. Then it's gonna be the dual screens Metacross with Lyclay on it. And we are gonna be having this coming in somewhere like midpoint of the battle. Potentially in a scenario that Necrozma has done the breaking, Landorus has done its lead scenarios, and then I can bring this in safely versus something and get up my dual screens and just blow up yet again, similar to Landorus Therian holding explosion, do massive damage to whatever is in front of me, and then I can proceed from there and position myself in a way ideally that Scrafty can go to town afterwards and hopefully close the game for us. So that's pretty much the Metacross, not too special there otherwise. And then the last member of the team is gonna be our only like pure dedicated wall and a pivot, which is gonna be fully physical defensive Primarina holding the Rocky helmet as well as our item. And this is just here to be a soft check to something like Arcanine or Weavile especially. And then I just have 4 moves that I felt most comfortable with. Flip Turn is probably gonna be the move that I'm clicking most. Moonblast is just there to hit the Weavile in itself in front of me. Energy Ball is there to cover the Blastoise. And Slow Encore can be very important versus Blastoise if it's in front of me and it's not being able to, or it's trying to go for its setup, because then I can deter it from there. And then I'm gonna be having full 3 turns of Encore on it because I go last on it. And then I can proceed to go for Energy Balls to be able to pick it up from there, or Moonblast depending what's left on his side at that point. So that's pretty much the team. Very offensive that you typically see from me, but I feel like this is one of the better ways for me to catch him off guard, especially in a regular season game like this. And fingers crossed I can do my bounce back after the week 1 unfortunate loss. He is coming into this game with a 1-0 win plus 6 differential, so he's very comfortable when it comes to his week 1 result coming into this. I'm a little bit on the put it into the corner, try to come out and bounce back right away. So hopefully that's gonna be able to do to be done today, how I should say it. And now let's go and see how this battle is turning out. Alright, here we are with the battle with Mountaih. We have his 6 on the layout, thankfully we shared each other. Right before going to this, and I'm gonna be sticking with my lead, but I will be settling in a little bit, try to kinda grasp off what he could be having. The Rotom fan will be annoying for my Scrafty, but ideally either Landorus or Metacross can explode on it and wear it down, and Talonflame could revenge it as well. I don't think I need to be worried about a little bit Blastoise for Gale Wings, if needed to. If I see a lead of like Latias, I'll probably explode on it. Nidoqueen, I Earthquake. Rotom Fan, I'll probably get up rocks and then blow up. Weavile, I swap. Rillaboom, I get up rocks, and Blastoise, I probably get up rocks. I have a little bit more time, I can put his 6 here as well. So Latias, Nidoqueen, Rotom Fan. I'm gonna actually lock them in so I have time here. make sure I get the right lead. The lead is so important for me. Rillaboom and Blastoise. Good luck and have fun to Mountaih, and let's get this show on the road. This is gonna be a very highly anticipated game for all of you to see. And no different for me and Mountaih as well. I know both of us have been really looking forward to this. He leads out with the Blastoise, which could be like a flip turning lead. Do I just Earthquake and follow it up with an Explosion? Because if this is a supported Blastoise, I don't get much out of getting rocks up necessarily. Going for an Earthquake would be pretty big to get some damage. So I think I'll go for the Earthquake. Damaging this. As we do almost half to it. As he just does go for the flip turn. Okay. I'll take that damage on Blastoise, and this tells me right away this is not a setup. The Stick, which is his way of nicknaming Weevil, which is fine. I do have just my Primarina dedicated to this, so I will just do that. Blastoise is now at, I would say, 55%, and we saw Flip Turn coming out of it. And versus that Blastoise, if I look at the damage, I do withdraw, so it means that he stayed in. As he goes for a Focus Punch. Oh, he thought this Crafty was the answer. Really cool. Really cool tech from his side. Is he Life Up? No. But Focus Punch, okay. So he was expecting defensive Scrafty, which is fair. If he has been following me, he knows I like to use my Scrafty that way. But I'll be going for a Flip Turn here. If he likes to stay in and take more damage with Poison Jab, that's fine, because then Talonflame can do the same thing, and he can U-turn as well. So Focus Punch Weevil was his way of hitting Scrafty very hard. Very cool. Now how does he want to go about this? Because Flip Turn can be quite obvious. He can be very aggressive with this and stay in. But he could also have a form of pivoting around this, like going to Blastoise again, going to Rillaboom, Rotom Fan even. But he does withdraw into the Rillaboom. Okay. I have few options here that I could go into my Landorus. Let's see. I have options to go into Landorus on this, get an Intimidate, and get huge damage. I do live a Classic Light, right? Even from Bandit. I need to double check this. If I'm Intimidate. 65, I'm at 177. I should even leave a Bandit hit, so I think getting my Landorus Therian in and get up a huge explosion could be really nice. He could also think I'm making this play just to go for a Sludge Wave. As we see the Grassy Terrain giving him the health. And his leftovers too. Okay, so this is a leftovers Rillaboom, which is very good to know. So I could go for Stealth Rocks. I think I want the rocks. Let me go for the Stealth Rocks. I think he might swap here, so it gives me rocks plus the explosion. He will imagine I have a reason to be here with fly, like access to fly, for example. But he does stay in. What does he go for? Leech Seed perhaps? Leech Seed. And we dodged that, that's really good for me. So here's the Leech Seed set. I'm actually glad I saw this in a mock. Shoutouts to Simi Chris who brought a Elite Seed Rillaboom versus me. But now I can go for Explosion here. As he does stay in, and this should do good damage to this Rillaboom. Oh my god, we almost killed that thing. Very good. As he does go for the Elite Seed again. This is very good damage. Now he will gain himself around, what is that, 20% of health? Yeah, that's pretty much like 20%. So this gives me opportunity to go into my Talonflame and just U-turn. But that Explosion was really good damage. That could have been like a max HP Rillaboom. So U-turn should be killing it. So we just go for that. I do have to take out my Landorusterian from the layout while I'm doing this. My third, being the Landorusterian, is dead. But it did pretty well here. It got damage on Blastoise, putting it 55%. We have Stealth Rocks off for now. And I get to U-turn. As the Blastoise comes in. Is this Rocky Helmet Blastoise perhaps? It is Rocky Helmet. Okay, so it's a defensive Blastoise. He could try to go for a Rapid Spin here. My way of dealing with this would be probably just go into my Necrozma and just do as much damage as possible to it. Yeah. I think Necrozma is the play. I might be able to actually raw kill it with just Photo Kaiser. He's at 36%. That would be a high roll to kill it from there. I could go for a Sword Dance. Or I could try to go for the kill right away. I like Sword Dance. Because then I'm not dealing with the potential damage where I'm putting him in a position that he has to respect this thing later on. So I go for the Sword Dance for now. This also means that the Frodo fan has to come in on me and I might... Haze. Okay. He's Haze on this. So I'm better off just going for a Photo Geyser then, twice. And he's not gaining any health anymore. I could go for it again, cause he cannot gain any health. I think I'll go for Sword Dance one more time to see if he kinda expects me not to set up. So I go for the Sword Dance again. Cause if he status me, I have a Lumberry. Rapid Spin. That's fine. It does mean that the Stealth Rocks are now gone, so Landorusterian won't be having that value for me. But now I can Photo Geyser here. It does mean that he does get the haze off. Okay. So maybe I could have done this exchange a little bit better, but... yeah, that's pretty low health now. And I'm pretty free to go for it again. He might go for Torrent Boosted Skull, which would be a little annoying. But breaking down this Blastoise, which had haze on it, is really good. And I do happy to outpace it now, so it was a potentially speed tie unless he went for something else. He could have been clicking Mirror Coat now thinking about it. That might have been Mirror Coat why I outpaced it. So the Blastoise is dead, which is his last member. And I'm still very high health, which is nice. And I also have my Lumberry intact, so if Rotom Fan comes on this thing... like, if I see Rotom Fan in front of me, what would I be clicking? Potentially just Sword Dance, to be honest. We'll see. I could also just go for raw Photo Geyser on it. But he was a very anti-setup Blastoise himself. This was different from his week 1, because he brought a Cell Smash week 1, and I know and have heard like how much he likes that mon with that set. So Rillaboom comes in on this. I think I'm fine just getting rid of this thing, to be honest. I don't think I wanna swap. And depending on what kind of speed creep he put on this, this could enable me to just get rid of this right away. So I'll go for Geyser. As he does go for the knockoff. That will hurt a little bit. But he's... yeah, he's Grassy Tier and will give me a little bit of health. So now all this other Rillaboom is also gone. And his 5th Mon is now dead. And now my Necrozma is... I didn't see the end of HP, but I can check it very soon what health I am at. Percentual wise. Because that can be important how he can revenge kill this thing. But things aren't looking too bad for now. Rival comes in. Could I tell from that focus punch that if this is bandit or not? If we have like Trolley Bandit. What health is my Primarina? My Primarina is 132. That could have been Choice Bandit. That looks like a Choice Bandit Vival, which means that I don't want to stay in on this. I will preserve this because Necrozma can do quite a bit of work. So I'm gonna be making sure that this thing has Choice Band on it. Yeah, as he does go for the knockoff. Now he will be taking a little bit more that chip from the Rocky Helmet, but that will unfortunately be the last time. But now the Viva is at 75%. And knockoff. So now it's important for me to keep Talonflame outside of range of the... for Ice Shot. So I will be clicking Flip Turn on this. Because even if he stays in, I can go into my Talonflame and I safely do speed creep it. And then I can keep up the momentum. Necrozma is still important to have, because it's important to be able to get rid of either Rotom Fan or Nidoqueen with it still. And he cannot really swap into it too easily at the moment. I can have a little bit of water. Because it's actually relatively warm and it's been actually thundering and been raining outside. God damn it, nature. I'm trying to play a Pokemon game here and they're trying to make it even more over dramatic than this battle really needs to be as it is. He does make a hard read into Latias. Interesting. Expecting, I guess, the Moonblast. Which is expecting the Flip Turn, I should say, and not clicking the Moonblast, as I should say. But this gives me the opportunity to go into my Metagross and I click right screen. He could be the Reflect type, but with Screens Up and Exploding Scraft, he should be able to handle that. I think just fine. So I'm gonna be getting up my Light Screen first. He could be the set that I saw in UBL that Razor used to Reflect type Latias, but this time around I do have a ways of dealing with it, but it's not the Metagross in itself, it's this Scrafty in the back with the screen support. And I did decent damage with that Flip Turn to Latias. Well, I guess I get to see that how much of a damage it did. It did almost... That could have been low roll or a high roll. Mystical Fire. That did 100 damage to my Metagross. So... Mystical Fire. I was at 100, now I'm at 83. That could have been just a high roll from it, based on my spread. But a second one behind a light screen should be doing less than 50. I could go for a Reflect, but do I need a Reflect on this matchup? Because I could just explode on this. This is important. Do I need to reflect? I don't think I do, because I think I can set up with Scrafty. I'll get the reflect. As he withdraws. Into Malenia. It's the Nidoqueen. I get up my reflect as well, and now I can explode on this. And we'll see how much speed he has on this as well. But ideally I do outpace him, and he didn't put enough speed for this. And I get massive damage on it. So this crafting is open up a little bit. Or my Necrozma can then deal with the Rotom Fan. He does go for the T-Spikes. Which I guess I'm not too surprised of, but this Nidoqueen should be taking a lot from this. We're gonna be exploding again, which is probably funny for him, because I already brought one explosion mod. But you thought I'm gonna end up with one? I'm going with a second one as well. This Nidoqueen is dead. Let's go, Metagross. Quite literally, because you just died, but you know what I mean. Okay, so we have now you dead, and my Metagross being my 5th dead. Here, I have few options how to go about this. I could go into my Necrozma, which can hit everything hard at the moment, including the Rotom Fan. If he goes into the Weavile, I'm okay. Is that the player? Do I go into Hot Scrafty? I think I'll do the Scrafty. Here comes the Rotom. Because Scrafty in itself might just need to break for Talonflame at this point. As we have the Lumberry. So Dragon Dance on this. He might be Will-O-Wisp as well, but that would be a little surprising, I guess, with the... That would be a little surprising with T-Spikes combined having Will-O-Wisp. I guess it will cover the Landorus or Metagross. He does go for the Nasty Plot. Which means I need to immediately attack this thing. So he's Nasty Plot Rotom. And now I will just go for Knockoff. This is important to get through this thing, cause Talonflame is looking pretty decent afterwards. As that is doing beautiful damage to this thing. As he goes for the Air Slash. Which is doing a lot. But it means that now I can kill this Rotom out of the way. The Rotom is at 21% now. And my Scrafty with a +1 knockoff to a Rotom Fan. Yeah, I did quite enough damage to it. So Rotom Fan is gone, which is really good. The third member of his team is gone. And my Scrafty is now +2 attack, +1 speed. I don't know if Ice Shot actually kills me at this point. Because if it doesn't, this might win. He goes into Latias. Let's see if he has the proper speed for this. I'll just go for knockoff again. He might be Scarf. That could also be a thing. He could be Scarf with this. Let's see. Because I have quite a bit of speed on this, so after +1, there are a decent amount of Latias spreads that I could outpace. But depends on really if he's Scarf or how much speed he put on this. Let's see. We are not out of the woods just yet. He does Draco. And lands it. Which will take me out. But this means that I can go into Primarina and pretty safely clicking Moonblast. So Scrafty is gone, my first one on the team. But now I can Moonblast. Either this thing dies or the Weavile dies. Either way I'm fine with it. So their first or their fourth will die. Sorry that I'm saying it this way, but I need to make sure that the layout is always updated with this. He's sacking the Weavile. So we can get rid of the Weavile. Their fourth. And then it's the Latias. The light screen is gone. Unfortunately, I suppose. But here comes the Latias. Is there any move he can lock himself into safely? We'll see. Thunderbolt. I think with my Necrozma I go into it just to knock it off. Just to make sure that if it's Scarf, I can get rid of the Scarf for my Talonflame. Let's go Addison. The Necrozma. As my Primarina is dead for the layout circumventions, so my 6th is dead. We go for a knockoff. Get rid of potential Scarf. Thunderbolt. We should live. As we do. We go for a knockoff. Hopefully get rid of something like a Choice Scarf on it. Yup, good. So Talonflame wins. This is gonna be a 1-0 win, but what a hell of a 1-0 win this is gonna be. Like, just as advertised, your game versus myself and Mountaih is gonna be very narrow to the line. Very offensive game, but I'm very happy how the team is coming together. And now Talonflame, as long as I click Brave Bird, I'm totally max speed. There's no speed creeping at shenanigans that I'm doing with this thing. We should be just clicking Brave Bird here and be just fine. I believe at least. As the Necrozma went down, my 4th Mon died. As we finish off with the Brave Bird, and your Helsinki Hydreigons have defeated the reigning Champions of Galar tournament, Mountaih himself, with a narrow 1-0 win. Great game to him, I'm sure. This was a game that he was really looking forward to and be nervous about. Same goes to me, it was really my pleasure to get to play him finally. We have been waiting for this opportunity for 2 years. And we could do it pretty much on the biggest stage that Gen 8 Wi-Fi that has to offer, which is here in the Champions of Galar. And now, this is gonna be a huge pillar or cornerstone for my season going forward, because now I can really like settle in and say that okay, the week 1 didn't go as I planned. I made a choke play not going for a second Dragon Dance versus Bruno 7, but now in week 2 going up against the toughest opponent based on their reputation in the league, what they've been able to accomplish and throughout this generation, besides myself and Shaco King I guess included to it, I'm able to come in and showcase that I can beat Mountaih, the reigning champion, in a very close game. But I'm sure he's gonna be looking forward to a potential rematch, which we could definitely have in playoffs. He is gonna be going 1-1 and +5 differential, and I'll definitely take the 1-1 and +0 differential coming out of this game. Make sure to check Mountaih out. He's a very entertaining and very skilled at the game, something that I cannot do both things at the same time. I can be very good at the game, or when I'm not like in my very focus mode, I feel like I can be a funny guy. But that's I guess for my friends to debate on how funny I can be. But regardless of that, make sure to check him out. His YouTube channel will be down below in the description, just like all the coaches in the league. All these games have been very entertaining to watch, especially the week 1 if you didn't see them. But I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of cool games here at week 2 as well. Week 3, I'm going up against Sventhun, somebody that I got to play once before in the second last game in the UBL that was a little bit earlier in this year. But that's gonna be a fun game. Finland versus Sweden once again, this time versus Sventoon. Stay tuned for that, subscribe if you're new, and I'm gonna be see you guys later.